How's it going, everyone? My name's Alex and Sing4DLaughter, the owner of Gaming Tracks Radio, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming Tracks. So in the second half of today's episode, I'll be doing my very first interview, and it's gotta be me and Sing4DLaughter having a conversation regarding the latest album drop, Final Fantasy LoFi Summer Collection. You don't want to miss that. We have great discussions regarding that album along with much, much more. We also have a Games for Impact from a fine gentleman named Barry. But no, in all seriousness, me and Barry work together. He's a really good friend of mine, but he submitted a Games for Impact. He's going to be talking about a Link to the Past. So here's a little bit of a sample of what he has to say.
It is by far the one that has had the most impact. So much so that I'm in the progress of working on the Legend of Zelda tattoo. Being a nerd, I have a slew of different tattoos. Side note, just a bunch of different tattoos of a bunch of nerdy things. You know, I have some of the dragon script from Skyrim on my right arm. I have the Green Ranger's dagger on my left arm. You know, just nerdcore positive.
Stay tuned for that. But I don't want to talk about this too much because I talked about it in the past episode, but I had to mention it just because it's such breaking news and it's all over the internet. It's 100 million views on Twitter. It's crazy. PlayStation is going completely digital by the beginning of 2028. You could find a lot of what I talk about in the previous episode, but all I'm going to say is I told you guys. I knew this was going to happen. Now, in all honesty, I was kind of shocked that we ended up getting this news on a random Wednesday. I didn't expect it to happen so soon. If I remember correctly, I think in the past episode, I said that physical media would practically be extinct within the next 5 to 10 years, and I said digital media would completely dominate. I do remember me saying that I speculated the PS6 would be more or less like the PS5 Pro with an add-on, a separate purchase for a disc drive. Now I do not think that whatsoever, because since PlayStation is completely eliminating physical media by the beginning of 2028, it is to my best assumption that the PS6 will be digital only. There will not be a physical option at all. I'm not sure if there's going to be two different models, maybe a low end, maybe a high end. But if I had to take my best guess, I think there's going to be just one model. I think, at some point in the future, maybe 2032 or something, they'll release a PS6 Pro. This was crazy news. Everyone was talking about it. I've seen so many people discussing it, their own takes. And something that I do want to just say is I think it's important for us as gamers, whether you play physical or not, we cannot try to preserve physical media in the same sense of that's our first line of defense. Our first line of defense should always come down to the law. Let's just try to push something forward. If we get enough people as a collective to say, hey, don't mess with my digital games, something needs to be put into place because we don't want this information skewing around that what we own is not the game but the license. That needs to change. That needs to be attacked. We need to change the idea of, okay, we'll just give you the license. Okay, here's the license. Take the license. No. What we need to do is go to courts. We need to take action, much similar to Stop Killing Games. Which, by the way, have you seen the Stop Killing Games news regarding frickin' community servers, private servers being illegal? Have you seen that stuff? That's completely BS. But if we continue taking step forwards. Right now, they're just looking at us and laughing at us. They don't understand. At this point, it's just something they don't take seriously. But if we come together as a collective and grow and build and show the government how much of a concern, because this is a genuine concern that they just don't understand, because people in government are no younger than the age of 65. That's just the truth. The youngest people that you'll see in there is probably somewhere in their 60s. Either that or they're in their 40s and they've never touched a game in their life. We just need them to understand and do their own research. And if we come together as a collective, then things will be protected. Much of the population sees this as a concern, and this needs to be governed. I am against government on many things, but sometimes I think it's important for them to be taken into account. This is one of those instances. This is one of those instances where if our purchases, if our ownership's getting threatened by saying, here, take this license, action needs to be taken. But I'm not going to talk too much more on this, and the big reason why is because I talked so much in the past episode. If you want to hear more on that, go on the last episode. I talk all about digital and all that stuff regarding the, GTA. So check that out. Episode 6. I discussed GTA going digital. And with that being said, let's go ahead and listen to some music. What song should we play? What song should we play, guys? Let's do something a little bit different here, like a really unique song. Let's do Feel from Lies of P.
It is time to brace for impact.
Brace for impact. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
At some point in the future, I was thinking of doing like because I have different categories for this radio station. Like for this time of the day, it's a little bit more softer. I call it Save Point because it's more relaxing music. Now you still get hard stuff that here and there, but the more relaxing music's more dominant. But I try to have it fluctuate, because if you're hit with nothing but relaxing music, it might get a little bit boring. Or at least that's what I find, especially for a radio station. You want a mix of things. But this radio station is definitely more mood driven based off the time of day. But I was thinking at some point I could have a jazz category, specifically on Friday nights. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I was going to include songs like the song that you just listened to from Lies of P. It's just very relaxing. Just late night, 10 p.m., 10 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, by the way. Eastern time. But I was thinking that would be such a good feeling. Like, that would just be a mood. Just sitting back, relaxing. Welcome back to Gaming Tracks, everyone. My name is Alexander Petrie. And for today's Games for Impact, I have a listener who's been complimenting me, by the way, on this radio show. His name's Barry. He's a good friend of mine from work. Really great friend. Really nice. I'm just saying all this stuff so he could give me a pat on the back later. He's really nice. He's so kind. But no, in all seriousness, he submitted a Games for Impact. He's got to be talking about The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Take a listen to what he has to say.
Hey, everybody. Want to take a second to thank Alex for allowing me this opportunity on Gaming Tracks Radio. My name is Barry. I'm a buddy of Alex's. We started working together a couple of years back. Didn't take long to discover, from my point of view and his point of view, that we were both nerds. So, needless to say, we've gotten along famously since then. Originally, whenever Alex had asked me to do this, I kind of thought it was a bit of an insurmountable task, narrowing it down to one game that's just had the biggest impact on my life. But once he had mentioned which one had the biggest impact on me throughout my childhood, it all clicked. It didn't take long for me to figure out that that game in particular is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That game just has a foothold in my life, in the history that is buried. It had everything in it that I didn't even know I wanted in a game until I played it. It's the first true RPG, as far as I can remember. And I'm showing my age here a little bit since it was released in 1991. I probably didn't play it until I want to say around 1996 or so. So I was around six years old. Might have been 1997 when I was introduced to it. Super Nintendo, critically acclaimed game, and it just had everything that I wanted in a game. It had a myriad of different items that all functioned differently and did so many different things. It had to work in tandem for you to figure out the puzzles and the bosses and all the nooks and crannies of the game. And I mean, even talking about it now, I just have a huge smile on my face because it is just one of the best games that I've ever played. And it set the tone. Honestly, it set the tone for the rest of my life pretty much whenever it came to video games. If you were to sit me down and say, pick one style of game, I would tell you single player RPGs. It has one of the most recognizable faces in video game history, that being Link. And, no disrespect to the games before it, which aren't many, but it's the one that I feel really put The Legend of Zelda on the map. It's considered one of the greatest games of all time, and that's for good reason. I think the reason that it held such a special place in my heart, or rather it holds such a special place in my heart, is because it has everything you could ask for. It has a beautiful story. It has a hero. It has a memorable villain. It has different environments. It has a whole different world in it. There's two opposing worlds that mirror each other, and you go back and forth and back and forth. And it's just one of the best games that I've ever played. And even playing it now, it just takes me back just to that whimsical childhood wonder. It's just one of the absolute best. And they've only ever done anything to just improve upon that. Legend of Zelda, it doesn't always stick to the same formula, but it sticks to the same principles. And even now with Tears of the Kingdom, you have a slew of different items that you can use that all function a different way. And obviously it's much bigger and bolder now. And that's part of the beauty of A Link to the Past, is just simplicity as well. But it also required critical thinking, which for a 6-year-old, that's saying something, at least in my opinion, agree or disagree. But it is by far the one that has had the most impact. So much so that I'm in the progress of working on the Legend of Zelda tattoo. Being a nerd, I have a slew of different tattoos. Side note, just a bunch of different tattoos of a bunch of nerdy things. I have some of the dragon script from Skyrim on my right arm. I have the Green Ranger's dagger on my left arm. Just nerdcore positive, so to speak. And that game in particular is just the one that forever will likely remain my favorite game of all time. I can always go back and replay it and have a good time. I am never bored with it. It just has so much good in it. It's the protagonist, Link. And I'm not sure how familiar anybody here listening is with Legend of Zelda, but there's just different branching timelines based on which game it is you're playing. And that one falls under the defeated hero timeline, where the hero of time was actually defeated by Ganondorf. He didn't win. And that caused a different timeline to split. And in this one, just like many of the other ones, Link wakes up and he's chosen, and he goes on a quest where a lot of people actually die. Spoiler alert for this 1991 game, but you're granted one wish at the end of the game. And what does Link do? He makes the absolute most unselfish thing and brings all those people back and allows them to live out the rest of their lives. It just really set the tone for what I look for in games. Obviously, specifically RPGs. I look for story. I look for memorable characters. I look for moments that stick with me and stay with me. And I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, so I'm not going to rattle off every single thing about A Link to the Past that I love. Otherwise, I'd be leaving an hour and a half long voice memo. But I'll cap it there. I really hope that you guys give it a chance. Anybody that hasn't played it before, you can find it on the Switch. I highly recommend it. It is just such a beautiful game, and it is just so much fun. So I want to thank Nintendo for making that game. I want to thank Alex for giving me the opportunity to be part of this. And I hope you guys are enjoying gaming tracks as much as I am. Hopefully I'll get to hear some feedback. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Go play A Link to the Past right now.
All right, guys, let's move on to the interview. No, I'm just joking. Let's not move on. Yes, I will be giving some feedback, even though I never played A Link to the Past. I know. Please don't hate me. It's just before my time. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I do try playing earlier stuff, like I played Final Fantasy. I've tried finishing up Earthbound. That's a story that I could save for another day, but I try digging into some of these older games. I will say that I did play The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. I don't know if that's like a sequel, or I'm assuming it's a sequel, right? But when I was playing A Link Between Worlds, I could really see why a game like A Link to the Past was so fun, especially when you go to the other, world. There would be like different layouts of the land formations. So you would almost have to play it smart and figure out what world you have to go in just to complete a dungeon or something. So I really understand what you mean in regards to just the dungeon creativity and the difficulty, and being someone like the age you were. I do understand the struggles with it because, like I said before, I've played Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and there was some obstacles in that game. There was some real challenges, like trying to water the Sudowoodo and trying to like figure out like why'd I do that? You guys can't see, but I was making a really weird hand gesture as if I was watering, but it looks like something else. But anyway, basically, I was trying to water a Sudowoodo, and I had no idea where to get the watering can. So I was having struggles with that. So I really understand the difficulty, especially at that young age. I was 10 playing Heart Gold. So I really understand, let me just tell you, I understand the difficulties that someone might have when they're playing a game like this that involves some form of puzzles. Even when I played the game A Link Between Worlds, I was only like maybe 13 or 14 years old at the time. Doing some of these especially when I was, really young, playing like some of these earlier games. Especially you in the 1990s with no internet. I had internet. I was just too young to figure that stuff out. You know what I mean? Honestly, if I think about it, I think the internet was too young to actually have guides. That's the beauty of things in the 1990s. Like, I don't know if you did this, Barry, but has anyone listening, have you ever had to memorize something, and instead of being able to take a picture with your smartphone or something, the conveniences of 21st century crap, but having to jot stuff down on a notebook? I actually had to experience some of that stuff. Or you had to buy, some of you guys might not know this, but you had to buy a book full of cheat codes. I was at this age where it was it was weird for me, because I was at that age where when I was younger, it was all physical stuff. I had to write stuff down. I had to memorize stuff using a pen and paper, and, using a cheat code book and all that stuff. But when I was reaching my teenage years, the internet comes along, it hits this whole big boom, and then all of a sudden my whole technique of what I had to do completely changed. It was very unique for me because me growing up, I've lived both lives. I had to experience both. And, being 25 years old, that's such a unique experience. That is so unique. And especially kids nowadays, they get an iPad at the age of 5. So it's like, do they even like they probably already have email addresses. They already have emails, I guarantee it. You know, just to experience some of these difficulties and the satisfaction of completing them. Like I'm sure when you completed some of these Link to the Past dungeons, you were jumping up and down, especially at the age of 6. You were probably jumping up and down, showing everybody. But let me just tell you, A Link to the Past was, like you said, a foundation to later Zelda games. And even Ocarina of Time, you could see countless stuff in Ocarina of Time that you can look at and be like, hey, they got this idea from A Link to the Past. I mean, the name itself, Ocarina of Time. This is just explains how much of a foundational piece A Link to the Past is. And you're right, it is probably the most foundational piece to any Zelda game moving forward. And don't get me wrong, the original Legends of Zelda was groundbreaking at the time. Like you mentioned, with its story, with its life lessons and its morals, and you said Link made a wish at the end of the game. A lot of that stuff pushes into games that we see today. Like for an example, Expedition 33. Like the end of Expedition 33. Now, I'm not gonna go into too much spoilers, but anyone who's played Expedition 33 will understand the theming of it and just how much of a foundational piece that is. And it's because of games like A Link to the Past, which is why we got games like they are today. And I'm not saying that would have never happened if it wasn't because of A Link to the Past. But what I am saying is that A Link to the Past is a foundational part. It is a pillar. A Link to the Past is a foundational pillar that we can use as an example. But anyway, thanks for making that submission, Barry, on Games for Impact. And if you're listening, you can make your own submission. You could either use the Voice Memos app on Apple or the Voice Recorder app on Android or any other way you can record. And make that submission to Alexander at gamingtracks.com. That is Alexander at Whoa! Ah! Damn it! I need a napkin. Shit. Okay. Sorry for that. Freaking turbulence. Hopefully that could get out.
Looking over the highwind, we have Cosa del Sol, currently occupying live events. LoFi artist Sing4DLaughter. He accumulates 60,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, a catalog of over 100 songs on his YouTube stream, and a highly respected artist amongst the Final Fantasy community.
You know what? I feel like having a conversation with this guy. He seems pretty cool. All right. Sure it's safe to jump? Okay. Starting to question if this is a good idea. Whatever. Actually, it wasn't that bad. What? Ah! Ow. Where is he? Where's Sing? Ba 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 da da. Ba ba. Oh, there he is. Gosh, darn it. Sorry, man. I just went skydiving. But I have some questions about your upcoming album, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Cosa del Sol, but you performed that with who'd you perform that with? because it was given 2 credits or something like.
Yes, it with Chilean guy, artist. His name is Felipe Jara, with a J, Felipe Jara.
Now,
And
when I see these credits, what did each of you guys do for Costa del Sol?
yeah, it really depends on the music. I love to do these collabs with other artists because you always have something different. So in this one, I recorded the guitars and I gave him like a basic drum beat with all the percussion, the guitars, some pianos, and then he added other elements, percussive elements. He recorded the bass, he recorded some other pianos on top. It was like each one gave a small contribution.
Yeah.
Usually I like to start with the beat because I can like give the direction and then the other people just complement it.
Well, like I was listening to it because I heard your version, like the version that you made years ago. And I noticed this version used Aguero, like the sliding of, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is, this is being more, you know, this has more in-depth layers to it. And I thought that was a really, like, I think that's so cool that, you know, you do different versions that suit what someone wants to listen to, because I think the version that you do, it's more softer, it's more like ambient. So if someone's more focused in the studying something or just wants to lay back in bed, they can listen to that version. But listening to this album so far, it seems like this is leaning more towards something that you would want to listen to on the beach. So it's more like a little bit more uplifting. So I thought that was really cool that it was more leaning towards the activity side of lo-fi.
Nice. That's great to hear the great feedback. Yes, I wanted to make like this summer album, and I wanted it to be more organic, more alive. You know, so there's a lot of percussion and live acoustic guitars, not that more synthetic stuff that I usually do with my other stuff. So all the songs have a lot of percussive elements, and sometimes they look almost they are not lo-fi. It's just I add some lo-fi filter on stuff, but they are really something else. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it was like it was something that you can listen while you are chilling on the beach or something like that.
Yeah, but one of the questions that I had, because you said this is more directed towards like a summer theme. In the future, would you ever like this is just I'm just curious, but would you ever do like a Christmas lo-fi and introduce songs that would be like Buried in Snow from Final Fantasy 7? I love that song.
Bro, yeah. I love that song too. I have already one version of that I find that it's really cool. It's one of my favorite, like personal favorites. And it's something that I have in my mind. I hope I can do it this year. I want to make a Christmas album with some songs from each Final Fantasy, and it will be dope to be able to do it this year. But the thing with these thematic albums is that you need to start with some time ahead, otherwise you don't arrive in time. Like for the summer, I'm delivering the album now. It will be releasing this Friday on July, and it will be way better to have it 1 month before because I just didn't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So it's coming out like now, and I wanted to feature also one song from Final Fantasy 12, one for Final Fantasy 13, and one from Final Fantasy 6. It was supposed to be a 10 tracks album, but if I was to record also this 3-1, it will be dropped after summer.
Yeah, I noticed for the summer album you included a lot more of the later Final Fantasy games. Now I'm not very familiar with some of the later stuff. So a lot of these songs that you're going to be doing, a lot of these songs will be a first time listen for me. So I'm really curious on the renditions that you'll do, and hopefully it will bring me to the originals. Just to talk a little bit about some of the other albums that you did this year.
Okay.
You did a Pokemon Black and White Volume 1.
Oh, yes.
I love Pokemon Black and White, dude. That's one of that honestly, that's my favorite That's my favorite Pokemon soundtrack out of all the generations.
Yeah.
I love Black and White.
Yeah, it's probably mine too. And if you when maybe you listen later, I don't know if you remember, but the first two songs, they are totally in this vibe of the summer album of the Final Fantasy. The idea came from that because the first two songs came out so fresh and cool. Then I said, okay, I need to do this for Final Fantasy because basically it's the two things that I do. I do like Pokemon music and Final Fantasy music. I have my YouTube focusing on Final Fantasy because of algorithm stuff. If I start pouring Pokemon there, it will just go crazy and it will not work. But I have a lot of songs from Pokemon also on my Spotify and on the streaming services, not on YouTube. And yeah, I love those Pokemon songs. They're so cool to reinterpret. And this album came very nice. I will do a second one now on September with the other two guys. They are both Brazilian. Also, I'm Brazilian for origin. Now I live in Europe, but I'm from Brazil. So we kind of like this bossa nova vibes and beach stuff with guitars. You know, it's imprinted in our...
Speaking of, and I wanted to show you this because I remember you saying that you love listening to prog in Dream Theater.
Yeah.
But I have... You mentioned you're Brazilian, so I wanted to show you this. I highly suggest you listening to this album. But I have this album here, and I got an autograph from all the band members who was at this specific concert.
Nice.
But it's called The New Sound by Jordy Griep, and it is like a Brazilian prog rock album.
Really?
Yeah. And portions of the album was recorded in Brazil.
Nice, but the guys are Americans, the musicians.
The lead is from England.
Okay,
but portions of the session musicians are
nice.
Brazilian.
Okay. Oh, that's super interesting, man.
But I just wanted to mention that because you ended up getting an autograph from Nobuo Uematsu earlier this year.
Oh, yes.
How was that?
It was amazing, man. It was amazing. It was a dream coming true. Like to shake his hand, it was something I would never have dreamed of. You know, you have like this life achievements or goals that you have in your mind, like impossible to reach. And imagine if one day I can shake hands with Nobuo Uematsu, and I even gave him my QR code with my song, and I just said, I was just there, trying not to cry and just saying thank you for everything you've done for us. Because
was he is he familiar with your lo-fi stuff? Like,
no, I guess not.
No?
I guess not. It's super busy. And I gave him my QR code for my music. But he didn't reach out to me, so I don't know if he listened, but it's totally cool. The guy is touring around the world, man. He was like in Italy, then he was in Netherlands, and he never stops. Never stops.
He was in New York, I think.
It's crazy.
Yeah, this past June. It's awesome.
It's always moving, and he's like the 70s. I don't know. He's quite old for doing that stuff. And man, I don't want to sound... that I'm not humble or anything, but it was so cool to see the concert because he was, from a certain point of view, doing something very similar to what I did live. Just like building the tracks with his keyboard. He was not playing the guitar, but he was building the tracks. He played like the man with the machine gun and dancing mad. And he was just like building the layers with his keyboard. And I said, oh my God, man, he's doing what
awesome.
I do.
That's awesome. I really wish they were in Pittsburgh. It's just too far. Yeah. It was too far for me, but I just wish I was able to meet him. I totally he is my favorite video game composer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. For me, there is all the composers and there is he in the limbo, like as the god of all of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you know that guy from Final Fantasy VII Music is the...
Yeah.
Yeah. He is from Washington, if I'm not wrong. and he came all the way to Italy to see the concert. He see like I was watching the concert in the afternoon because Nobu made two concerts because they were sold out so quick that he made one in the afternoon and one in the night. So he was here for the night one, and we almost got
Dude,
to shake
that's
hands.
crazy. That's
He
crazy.
came all the way from Washington to Italy. Yes.
But I have a couple more things to ask. You own a Paul Reed Smith guitar. And the first time I noticed that was on Warriors of Hype's 5th year anniversary stream. So I just wanted to show you my Paul Reed Smith right here.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a while. I don't know if you see how dusty it is. I was wondering, why did you decide a Paul Reed Smith?
Bro, for me, they have like the perfect song that I like. They are not so aggressive, but they have all the thick that I like. I don't know. I used to play when I was like a teenager. I would play a lot of Pantera and Dream Theater and Metallica. I don't know this kind of stuff. And my go guitar was always to be I need to have a Jackson. It was very aggressive and dark and with a lot of low end. Then I tried this one, like I bring it to the rehearsal and I just play it. And on the first chord, I did, okay, this is the guitar I want to have. And I don't know, it sounds different. It's amazing. It's my favorite guitar.
Yeah, for me, it's like the perfect combination between a Fender and a Gibson. Like you get both worlds. And to me, that's why I love it.
Yeah.
But do you have any other guitars that you play around with, like an acoustic or?
Yes, I have 2 acoustics. I like nylon fingerstyle to play some bossa nova. I have a steel one as well. I have another semi-hollow body from Thomann that is a German brand that happens in here. That is very cheap and very good quality here in Europe. And yes, I have those. I have also an Ibanez nylon as well, semi-hollow acoustic. I don't know, I would buy 1 guitar per month if I could afford.
I just wanted to bring that up because, like, I'm always fascinated when someone picks, like, an instrument. Because an instrument to me is, like, a part of someone's personality. So I just wanted to know a little bit of why you would pick a Paul Reed Smith. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds so perfect, and it's so beautiful with the birds in the neck. I don't know. For me, it's my guitar. I will never change. I'll probably get another one.
Mm-hmm. The last question that I have: you ended up releasing a Rebirth Lo-Fi soundtrack, or like a Lo-Fi album, before Rebirth released.
Yes.
Will you do the same thing for Revelation if you get enough of the music in a trailer or something?
Absolutely. Everything they give me, I will turn into lo-fi.
I just wanted to ask because
it's basically what I love to do.
What I loved so much, that in my opinion, that's probably one of my favorite albums that you've made. Because you hear just enough to know the direction of the song, but you also hear an interpretation of what you think the song will sound like going into Rebirth. So I love that mixture between you need to make this into what sounds like a Final Fantasy track and do what's given to you. So it's like this perfect balance between what you know and what you don't know. So I just think that was a really that's why the Rebirth Lo-Fi soundtrack's one of my favorites.
Oh, nice! Thank you, man. I did this also with the Final Fantasy 16. It's one of my favorite works, and it's crazy that I listen to the songs now. For example, our terms, the song is completely different from what I did because I had just a small part. Like I had like a 30 seconds clip from the trailer, and I made something on top of that. And then the song just go to a totally different version, the direction. And okay, my version is unique because I didn't have all the 100% of the material. I think that's super cool.
Mhm.
It gave me the freedom to give my interpretation even
Yeah,
more.
I love the interpretations that you make. I love how you. I love the ambition to try to jump ahead of the curb before anyone else. You're like, okay, let's drop a Rebirth album before it releases, and I just love that. To me, you are the lo-fi Final Fantasy person in the community.
Wow.
So I really
Thank
appreciate
you,
that
man.
you try to give us content when the content is only halfway there. Like you know what I mean? Like the content that we see in the trailers is only halfway there. So you try to make it complete. And I really respect that, man. I just love the
Nice. Thank you, man.
effort behind
Thank
it.
you, man. Yes, I will definitely do it with Revelation. I just need to know what they will give us
Mhm.
that is new, because
Yeah.
they have like all the songs from the other ones we had before, and there are a few soundtracks from the original one that they haven't covered yet. So
I think it really is going to come down to if they drop some sort of like state of play for Revelation. That's
yes,
the big thing for me.
yes,
Because if they
yes.
don't, then like I don't know. Like I'm just hoping in these trailers we hear originals. Like you know what I mean.
Yes.
But that's all the questions that I have. I just want to say it's an honor for me to have this conversation with you, man. Do you have anything?
Oh,
Do
man.
you have anything else to say before the episode's over?
Just invite people to check my music if they don't know it yet. I'm doing this project for almost 4 years. I have 8 hours of Final Fantasy music in my live stream going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost 100 songs, and I don't plan to stop. I don't plan to stop until I have like all the Final Fantasy soundtrack covered. I'm a bit of a completionist. I just want to have everything that I can for you guys, and to see that there are people that give me this feedback, that they like my work, that they are passionate for about what I did. It's crazy, man. It makes me want to cry. Yeah, it's really, that's all because of that I do this, and I feel so fortunate to be able to work with this, because I was able to turn this into my living now. And
And
it's super cool. It's an
the
honor.
live streams that you do, man, it's a huge inspiration for me because I have this radio station, and just seeing that you do something similar and you have your own radio on YouTube, to me that's just a really big inspiration. So I just wanted to tell you that you are a part
Nice.
you are part of the reason why I am doing this whole thing. So it's just a really
Wow, man. Thank you. Thank you.
The
live stream is turning almost 2 years now without interruption.
Yeah, and
I started the last stream in July 2 years ago.
Yeah, and you have a lot of consistent listeners in there too. Like earlier I checked, it had like 80 listeners. So it was just
Yes, it's always like between 80 and 100. It was way more before the AI slop boom on YouTube.
Yeah, I noticed that you have to say no AI in the
Yes. Yes, I put that because I was a bit mad with this. Out of nowhere, there was like 3 or 4 lo-fi radios with exactly the same title as mine, and a lot of AI slop stuff there. But they don't last, man, because people get tired. Maybe it's like a new thing, and they go listen a bit, but they don't. I don't know. These songs don't have soul for me, in my opinion. And I try to put a soul in each one of my songs. So,
but yeah, man, thanks for having this conversation.
Oh,
you know, just
man,
starting out.
Man.
Episode 7, by the way, the lucky number. This is episode 7.
Wow.
All right, guys, that's got to do it for today's episode. And if you haven't yet, please go ahead and check out Sing4DLaughter. He's got to be having a new album come out on July 3rd. It is the Final Fantasy LoFi Summer Collection. I listen to the tracks. I love them. There's a lot of activity in them for lo-fi. So The next time you go out on the beach, highly suggest checking it out. The next time you go on a picnic, play some of his music. It's great. Also, check out his live stream, and if you found him out through Gaming Tracks, go ahead and leave a comment saying that Gaming Tracks brought you there. It would mean a lot to him, but also to me. Lastly, check out gamingtracks.com. If you ever miss an episode, all episodes will be on there. You'll also be able to find it on all major streaming platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and even YouTube. Just search in Gaming Tracks and you can find all the content on there. We'll see you guys next time. Love you.